Alright, hello citizens of the Nigelverse. It is Nigel once again, and welcome back to System Shock Radio. So, I got some topics for you guys today. As always, per usual. But of course, if this is your first episode of System Shock Radio, welcome. If not, welcome back. Guys, so without further ado, let's get right into it. So, the first thing we're going to talk about, the first thing that we're going to talk about is, it's some news. It's certainly some news, and admittedly, and really with these first two topics, I'm kind of tardy to the party here because this has been stuff that's been discussed for a while now. But Joker 2 is set apparently to be a musical. So, of course, this is a sequel to the Joker movie from 2019. Of course, there's one of a lot of people's favorite movies. He's of course starring Joaquin Wild. Really awesome movie. Really detailing the struggles of mental health and it being overlooked, while also giving it that flavor of not just the Batman lore, but Gotham in general, and really sending a message that this could really happen to anyone, which is why the movie was so revered. So the next logical step, of course, is to turn it into a musical. So Joker for do, and I think I may be pronouncing that wrong, but it's set to come out later on this year on October 4th, starring Lady Gaga as I believe as Harley Quinn, and then starring Joaquin Phoenix once again as Joker, and it's set to be a musical. Yay! Hey, apparently it is gonna be set to be a musical. Very much. I think it's been described as like a jukebox musical. So, musical numbers from the time, or at least music from the time, that being the 80s. Here's the thing, though. I'm not totally against musicals. Musicals aren't really my first choice when it comes to movies I prefer. And it's not because they're bad. It's just more so kind of a preference thing for me. But this one especially makes no sense, and essentially turning that and sequels in general are kind of tricky, but turning this the next Joker, into a musical. I'm already kind of scared, because why is it a musical? Why they bother turning it into a musical? What from the first movie screams, you know what the sequel needs? It needs musicals. It needs music. Now, of course, the first movie had music and different musical tracks and everything like that, and some of it did play into the scenes, such as Joker dancing in the mirror, and stuff like that. Or of course, there's him going down the stairs. Now, in full, in full decked out Joker, or full decked out Joker get up and everything, after he killed his mom and everything. But otherwise, what about how the Joker character, or if it was like a parody musical, of the Joker, and lean definitely more into the comics. The thing is, the movie tried to it leans to the comics somewhat, but also tried to do its own thing, which isn't really a bad thing, and it definitely paid off for the movie. But if it was like a parody type musical, showing the Descent of Madness for Joker, I think that could potentially be interesting. It'd be a little tricky, but I think it could be interesting. But yeah, it looked like that might be it might be the route they're going for, or here. Or I would hope it's being described here as a psychological thriller or film, so kind of like the first one, but a musical. So I don't know. Like I said, I'm not inherently against musical. A lot of the Disney movies are musicals, and some of them were good. More so like the older stuff, the newer stuff. Although, maybe that's more so maybe it's my age showing, but the newer stuff, some of the newer stuff is pretty decent, but a lot of it I can't really get into. But like I said, I'm not inherently against musicals, even though musicals have never really been my thing. But why Joker of all characters? Why this second movie of all characters? And I guess it makes sense as well, because Lady Gaga's in there. She's a singer and everything. But just why musical? why? Like, it's more. I'm not really mad. I'm not necessarily mad or like angry or frustrated. I'm more so confused. Who's that's like why? What? And I keep repeating the question because it's the question I have is why musical? What made it seem musical? Like I said, a sequel be kind of difficult to pull off. Like, it's not that the first movie totally blocks out a sequel. Like you can't have a sequel. You can't do a sequel to this movie. It's designed to not have a sequel. Well, like it does leave some stuff open ended, and maybe you could want to see like okay where does Joker go from here as he continues into his descent into madness, but otherwise yeah, so it is kind of weird in that regard, and I imagine that's also because the first movie was so successful. It did really well at the box office. Joaquin Phoenix won the Oscar for best actor for Joker, but yeah, it's really weird. But nevertheless, that's why I'd be checking it out. I really don't know. Like the first one, I saw in theaters, and really, and I've talked about seeing movies in theaters, how I don't necessarily do it that often, mostly because as it's definitely more of a novelty thing, where it's more about the experience as opposed to the actual movie. So I only go to the movies when I really want to see that movie, or or when I'm hanging out with friends or family. And in the case of the first Joker movie, it definitely was a little bit of both. Like I was hanging out with one of my friends, and we went to go see the movie when it was in theaters. There's kind of just to hang out and stuff like that. But then otherwise, I don't really go that often, and don't know if I'm gonna go for this one. But it's just kind of weird. But I guess we'll see, because it's gonna happen. So I guess we'll see how it pans out if I do end up watching the movie. I'm not sure yet, but nevertheless, the next thing that I'm going to talk about is that, and mainly, like I said, this one I'm also tardy to the party for, is that Toys for Bob is going independent, and in fact they had gone independent. So, an official statement from their website. This came out on February 29th of 2024. And it reads, "We're thrilled to announce that Toys for Bob is spinning off as an independent game development studio. Over the years, we've inspired love, joy, and laughter for the inner child in all gamers. He pioneered new IP and hardware technologies in Skylanders. We raised the bar for best-in-class remasters in Spyro Reignited Trilogy. We've taken Crash Bandicoot to innovative, critically acclaimed new heights. With the same enthusiasm and passion, we believe that now is the time to take the studio and our future games to the next level. This opportunity allows us to return to our roots of being a small and nimble studio. To make this news even more exciting, we're exploring a possible partnership between our new studio and Microsoft. And while we're in the early days of developing our next new game and a ways away from making any announcements, our team is excited to develop new stories, new characters, and new gameplay experiences. Our friends at Activision and Microsoft is extremely supportive of our new direction, and we're confident that we will continue to work closely together as part of our future. So, keep your horns on and your eyes out for more news. Thank you to our community of players for always supporting us through our journey. We can't wait to share updates on our new adventure as an indie studio. Talk to you soon." So, and apparently they mentioned trying to get the deal with Microsoft, and apparently that deal was finalized on March 25th. So this definitely comes in the wake of the potential layoffs and the closure of Toys for Bob Studio not too long ago, which I covered not too long ago on the channel. Also, Toys for Bob going out on their own and really coming into their own, and I'm sure, and a lot of people were pretty happy about that. Toys for Bob has done, like they mentioned, and it definitely rings true. They did really awesome work with like Spyro Reignited Trilogy. They brought back Crash with Crash 4, so I am excited to see where they go from there. And one place that could go from there is potentially a new Spyro game. Now, I almost avoided talking about this because as a Spyro fan and within the Spyro community, I don't want to get my hopes up. We've heard plenty of times like, "Oh, a new Spyro game's coming out. Yeah, we're getting the Spyro 4 soon. We're getting a new Spyro game," and nothing. But it seems like there may be a new game in development. It's being and kind of it's definitely being rumored, heard, and being and been and kind of discussed a little bit it potentially new Spyro game. It's definitely more so one of those believe it when I see it kind of ordeals, at least for me, because I've heard the tales of, oh, we're gonna have a new game, oh, we're getting a new game in Spyro, a game in we're getting a new Spyro game in the series, I should say, and then nothing. So, excuse me, it's kind of one of those believe when I see it, wait and see what happens before I really delve into it. And of course, there's with me being a big Spyro fan, of course, if anything does come up, anything major, I'll definitely make a video about it. But for now, it's kind of more so. It's a bit more so up in the air. It's essentially he's still for the most part rumors, but if we are getting a new Spyro game, then that is pretty exciting, and I do want to see where it goes from there. We're still holding out hope. We're still holding out hope. It might be a fool's errand, but we're still hanging in there for a new Spyro game. But the next thing I want to talk about is that the Motor City Machine Guns are officially free agents. So they went into free agency not too long ago. In fact, I want to see the exact date that they went into free agency. And of course, the Motor City Machine Guns, that being Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin, probably in a lot of people's opinions, one of like the best tag teams in TNA. On April 1st of 2024 is when their contract with TNA came to an end, so they are now free agents. Like I said, arguably one of the best teams in TNA. And that's more so from other people saying, because I sadly kind of missed out on that era of TNA, but a lot of people said probably one of the best tag teams, and of course, finding success not just as a team, but as a solo star. Hers, of course, both men, former Impact World Champions, and I think of all the things you want to say about TNA, I feel like one thing, at least from what I've seen, that they always did right was tag teams. There's like their tag team division runs deep, but with them being free agents, now the question is, where are they going to go? The rumor now is that they may be headed to AEW. They had made an appearance for AEW previously. I want to see when they made that appearance. It was so it was in 2022. That they had made an appearance for AEW. And I think this was during the around the time of like the working relationship between Impact and AEW. But yes, they made appearance for AEW. They made some appearance, and more so Alex Shelley, if I'm not mistaken. And I think it was Alex Shelley for WWE. The team having teamed with Kushida to reunite the Time Splitters. But otherwise, we will see where they end up, whether it be AEW, whether it be with WWE, or whether it be elsewhere. And because I brought up AEW, and because I'm wearing the Blackpool Combat Club shirt, I don't know we'll have another chance to bring this up, even though it's technically not on the topics. But you know what? We're going off script a little bit. And hope that's okay. Is that at the AEW Dynasty event, it's saying that it's not going to be on Bleacher Report, and that AEW may be like distancing themselves from Bleacher Report, but it is going to be available on Fight TV, and it's actually going to be available here in the States, but it's also going to be available on YouTube's pay-per-view system. Although I still see it listed on Bleacher Report, and this comes in the wake of the last event, that being Revolution. A lot of people were having issues with it running on Bleacher Report. They weren't able to get it working and stuff like that. Me personally, for once, I didn't have any issues when it came to Revolution. Obviously, my experience isn't may or may not be the same as other people's. But me, I personally didn't run into any issues. Surprisingly, this time around, I have run into other issues running AEW events in previous events on Bleacher Report and everything. But when it came to Bleacher Report, I didn't find any issues. I'm tempted to try it out on Fight TV or YouTube, but I also don't want to like sink the money into it and then that also not work and somehow being worse than Bleacher Report. Although a lot of people do like how Fight TV does it. I'm not entirely sure how I'm gonna be able to watch. I should say more so, not sure how I want to watch Dynasty just yet. had pretty much deciding who to fork over the $50 to, whether it be Bleacher Report, Fight TV, or YouTube. I'm not entirely sure yet, but yeah, so interesting there. But also when it comes to Motor City Machine Guns, let me know in the comments where do you guys want them. Want to see them go. And next up is that we may potentially see some involvement from two very big names at WrestleMania 40. So, we have Stone Cold Steve Austin and Hulk Hogan, and I'm talking about this on the day of WrestleMania 40 Night 1, at the very least. I imagine this may or may not play into either Night 1 or Night 2. So, Stone Cold Steve Austin and Hulk Hogan have been rumored to have some kind of impact and some kind of involvement in WrestleMania 40, and especially with Night 2, a lot of people predicting that Stone Cold's going to show up to help Cody Rhodes out against the Bloodline. Could you imagine? Like, the moment would be cool, like The Rock and Stone Cold coming face to face. Of course, that legendary WrestleMania rivalry, which we definitely are going to review on the channel. Well, but it's also crazy that 10 years prior, we also had involvement from Stone Cold and Hulk Hogan and The Rock. They shared that moment in the ring. Hulk Hogan accidentally hit the Silver Dome instead of the Superdome as he was supposed to. So will they have any involvements at WrestleMania 40? And apparently there's another like open slot. They're not sure who's gonna get that slot for involvement in WrestleMania 40, but we will see. So let me know in the comments. Do you guys want to see Stone Cold and or Hulk Hogan involved at WrestleMania 40? And for this mystery slot, who do you think is gonna fill that mystery slot? We also again, this I'm probably not sure when I'll get another chance to talk about it, but Julia was at WWE World yesterday. In Philly and everything. I think she was backstage. I believe if she was backstage at SmackDown, of course, Julia, a part of New Japan and everything, a huge star in New Japan, rumored to be making her way to WWE. Her and Rossy Ogawa, and if I mispronounce any names, I apologize, but them being backstage at SmackDown, so perhaps a done deal as to her being brought into WWE. That was the rumor for a while, that she would be brought into WWE. It looks like the rumors may, if not satiate, then at least maybe weighing her options. But of course, I admit I'm very unfamiliar with her, but that's why you get to know people. And I've talked about this before. That's such a non-argument. Like, oh, I don't know this person. I've never seen this person in another company. Therefore, or that automatically means write them off. They're bad. They're terrible. Like, no. They bring in the people, so you get to learn about them. Either you catch up with them in the other company, or you take the approach of, oh, okay, I've never seen this person, and I don't really feel like going back to it. I'm excited to see what they do here. I'm excited to get a sampler size of them. Like that's always such a weird argument, trying to say like, I don't know this person, I'm not familiar with this person, therefore equals bad. Like no, that's not how that works. Now there are some people that you probably aren't familiar with, and then they come over and everything, and whether it be from different companies or what have you, they come over and maybe you're not the biggest fans of them, but that's why you get to know people. Like that's such a weird argument, but again, I'm definitely like wrestling fans. I definitely, I think between that and what I talked about yesterday, my predictions for WrestleMania 40. If you haven't already, go check those out. It's kind of a long one, but go check out my predictions and to see all my predictions of both WrestleMania 40 and NXT Takeover, or not NXT Takeover, NXT Stand and Deliver, or Freudian slip for me, NXT Stand and Deliver, which is taking place right about now. But at least at the time it's recording. But yeah, I think between those two, that's the confirmation that I gotta make a video about that at some point. So I definitely will. But the last thing that I want to talk about here is how to move on. And really, there's a variety of ways to move on from something, whether you're moving from one place in life to another, whether you're moving from one place to another, whether you're moving out of a relationship, whether you're moving to a new job, whether you're however or you're moving on. There's definitely different ways to move on, but oftentimes moving on is important because staying stuck in one place is going to is going to be your detriment. Like if you stay stuck in one spot in life and never leave that spot and don't move on to bigger and better, you're going to stay stuck and you're going to be just stuck right there in the muck. So, for example, when it comes to a relationship, how do you move on from a relationship, especially a long-term relationship where a lot of emotional investment and time was put into a relationship? It can be difficult, but usually the best thing to do is out of sight, out of mind, unless, as you know, your relationship ended amicably, you're still friends and everything. But if it was a rough, messy you probably don't need me to tell you that breakups kind of suck. But how do you move on? Normally out of sight, out of mind. Limit your access to them, not out of like malice. You don't have to do it out of malice, but and more so, don't necessarily try not to think about them. Try not to talk about them that much. Keep them at a distance where, if necessary, like if you choose to, associate with them or help them out or stuff or something like that, you can do it without jeopardizing yourself or jeopardizing them. But otherwise, keep them at bay, keep them at distance while you move forward with your life, or when it comes to moving from one job to another, which I'm being prepared to do. I got a new job and everything, so moving from one job to another, tie up your loose ends, leave on good terms, make sure you're polite, respectful, and cordial, and be excited about the new place, but also take some of the lessons you learned at your old place of work and carry them over into your place. It's like I said, moving on is a part of life. You can't stay stuck. You can't stay stuck in one spot, or else nothing's gonna get done. So, move forward and push forward on to bigger and better. You were there for a time. You were in that place for a time, whether it be relationship or a job and everything. But you move forward to bigger and better, and it's time. And as it's time to move forward, excuse me, you take the lessons, you take what you learned from your previous spot, and you move it over. Or hopefully that makes sense. I think that's probably the best way I can describe it. Moving on can be tricky sometimes, though. Moving on isn't always easy. It can be hard to move, not just because of that comfort, so stepping out of your comfort zone, but also because you don't quite know what's going to be on the other side. But you never know unless you try, of course. But nevertheless, that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do me a favor. Like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, turn on post notifications so you know every time I upload a video so you can see as it drops. And let me know in the comments below your thoughts on anything I talked about in this episode of System Shock Radio. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys later. Peace.